This transition is a super fun one in my experience, and it's a great one for beginners. Even if you start in same time underhand and you double stall in front of you, so I'll show you from this angle, you double stall in front of you, you can pull it up in the middle and then split the time. My poi are dangerously close to my face, so what I do is as I pull it up, so I've done the stall, then I wrap it around my fingers. So I stick my fingers out into the middle like this, as if they're touching each other, and then I let it wrap around the finger so that it shortens. So the whole thing in flow at this angle is stall, wrap, split the time. And then at the side view, you're like this. You'd stall, wrap, split the time. And you have to remember when you do the stall, it's on the outside, but you have to pull it to the inside of the figure eight. So we'll shove that guy in there today. All right, so let's just start off nice and easy. We'll start right foot T-stance, right foot facing to the right, left foot facing toward the screen, and sweep back, up to pinwheel, extension, to the right and overhand weave, open it up, sweep back, underhand weave, sweep over the top, overhand weave, open it up, sweep back, stall, come into buzzsaw, do a little back bend, and now we're going to take it and bring it down, plane shift it to horizontal, so whichever one you prefer, and then turn in the direction that it is going to go in spin. So I was here like this vertical, I plane shifted it down onto my right arm, and then I turned to the left with it, but you could be in vertical and plane shift it down onto your left arm, and turn to the right with it. Either one will work, whichever one you're more comfortable with. For the hip reels, which I didn't do a hip reel there. I did the bottom part of the Chasing the Sun, which is half of a hip reel because the reel has to go back the other way. So what I'm doing is, the way I like to describe it is if you can imagine that your hands are coming behind your back and you have like tuck's tails that you're flipping as you go this way. Or another good way to think about it is imagine you're Scarlett O'Hara and you're making a dramatic exit or entrance because she's Scarlett and that's what she does. Take her skirt, pull it behind your back and turn. So both hands are coming behind the back at the same time. But I do have a distinction. I call this together time when it's both poi hitting the bottom of the turn on the same side of the body versus same time, which is one on each side of the body. So it depends because you're in the middle. It starts out in same time, and then there's like a brief moment where it seems like it's together at the point where you're doing the pivot, if that makes sense, because they're both behind the back because you're turning. So you're doing yours where you're coming back low, and then you're keeping your hand back here behind your ass instead of coming forward like that. So as you come around the turn, come under like this in front of you. Just allow your hands to come forward a little bit more. So then if we connected it to up over the top, you come back behind your butt, and then you come up over your head, and then come down on the right. Low sweep to underhand, up over the top and down. Yeah. And then just as this is like a super nuanced thing, but I think it does make a difference. So let me demonstrate these two things to you. I'm underhand, well, I know we were here. Yes, we're here. Okay, so I'm underhand. There's two different ways you could do this, right? I'm coming up here and it's low and tight to my shoulder. So it's almost as if you can imagine, your fingers are thumbs up like this, and your fingertips are touching your shoulder as you're turning, right? Versus this, where your hands come up over your head. Okay, I think it's a slightly different movement, and I think it actually tends to get more crowd response, especially on fire, if it's tighter to your body. So what I like to think about it is, you're in this pocket right here. So your hand, it's almost as if you grab your earlobe or you're like thumbs upping onto your shoulder. So if you were to just do the hand motion, let me take the scarf off so you can see better. So you're like this, you come up, and then you turn. Yeah, so you're, you come up, thumbs up, pivot, turn, and then throw it down. Okay, so we'll do that a couple times. Come up, pivot, turn, throw it down. Sweep the skirt behind your butt, come out underhand. So I'll face the correct way. So sweep the skirt behind your butt, turn, come up, thumbs up on the shoulder, pivot, turn, throw it down. Sweep the skirt behind your butt, come up, pivot, turn, come down. Sweep the skirt behind your butt, come up, pivot, turn, and come down. Sweep the skirt behind your butt, pivot, turn, and come down. With the poi, as opposed to just the hand motion, I feel like sometimes the poi chi helps where you're just flowing with the hands as if, but you can't get tangled that way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Low turn, sweep the skirt, and then up over the head tight. And sweep the skirt and up over the head tight. And sweep the skirt and up over the head tight. And sweep the skirt and up over the head tight. Let me show you from this angle. Your hands are like this instead of palm down. So if you imagine it, I'll show you side view. If you imagine it, imagine your hands are rakes. You're digging in the dirt, you're lifting your elbows, and then you toss the dirt on the other side. Palm down, and 5, 6, 7, and grab the dirt, pivot, turn, and toss the dirt on the other side. 5, 6, 7, 8. Rake the dirt, pivot, turn, and toss the dirt. Then up over the top, and 5, 6, 7, 8, and rake the dirt behind the back and pivot, toss, come underhand, throw it, and up over the top, and 5, 6, 7, 8, rake the dirt, pivot, and toss the dirt over the top, and 7, 8, and rake the dirt, toss the dirt over the top, and 7, 8, and rake the dirt, toss the dirt, and now let's just try and connect them. And then for added dance points, what I'm doing is I'm shifting my weight right to left, right to left. But then you can add an extra element of backing up and going forward. So you're not really doing anything different, but you are. It makes it look like more because you're moving with it. Let's talk about your feet. So I'll do the move, but it's less about the move and more about what your feet are doing during the move. If you do it like this, where you're just kind of like standing there, and then you turn, right? It's like almost 2 steps, right? Whereas if you maintain one foot in front of the other, you don't even have to lift your feet. You just shift your weight and pivot side to side. And that'll prevent you from doing this. So this is a very common thing that happens with people when they're learning this move. They're like this, they pivot, and then they like go forward too far. So if you just maintain your feet and practice this T-stance pivot, right foot is this way on the right, pivot. Left foot is this way on the left, and pivot back and forth, and back and forth. And then when you start doing the move like this, like a wall plane move, I do it more like this V stance, right? So it's not the T anymore, it's a V. And then I can shift my weight side to side, right? So okay, so if we put all of those things together, that's a lot of little details, right? This is like the super nuanced view of the world. It's the pulling the dirt, elbows up, skirt behind the back, pivoting in the T-stance, tossing the dirt, hands low and tight to the shoulder as you come back. So sweep low, sweep high. Sweep low, tight pivot, sweep high. So no step. The feet never even have to lift off the ground. I mean, if your feet can lift the ground, then, hey, I like your superpower. And then this is just the one where you're doing it contiguously as a wall plane move. And so this is me just standing still. Boring. I mean, it's fine, but shifting weight. And now adding motion, going backward and forward. Motion with the hip action, and a step tap, and a step tap, and a step tap. So when you're coming up and you're low and tight and you're doing the thumbs up, and you hit right now your elbows are kind of wide. If you keep them tight like this, you can think of your elbows as sort of the steering wheel. It will direct the plane of the poi as it goes over the top of your head. Just like your elbows here direct the plane coming low behind. As long as we're fine-tuning this move, I guess I'm going to give you another tip for how to fine-tune this. So right now you've been starting on overhand, doing one full sequence, coming around, and then beat, 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 and then one full sequence and coming around, beat, beat, beat. One full sequence coming around, beat, beat, beat. But now let's do it starting on the left side and do one full sequence, beat, beat, beat. One full sequence, beat, beat, beat. One full sequence, beat, 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 right? Because once you do that, it's easier to connect the two together into the continuous move. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over the top, immediately low, come back to underhand. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Over the top, pull it low, and immediately back to underhand. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over the top, sweep low, and back to underhand. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over the top, sweep low, back to underhand. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over the top, sweep low, back to underhand. 5, 6, 7, 8. Over the top, sweep low, back to underhand.